you've told us pretty much at every turn, you're still rehabbing. This is still a process. You're still getting better. But are there times you maybe put that a little bit aside and just soak in the moment of what has happened and the long road to get to a point like this? No Kyle, no Jimmy. You help put away a series.
I mean, yeah, it's a blessing, you know, at the end of the day to be able to play the game I love. A year ago today, I was expecting and waiting for my next surgery. I remember a year ago today, around this time last year, I was sitting in a dark room by myself and just broke down. Not because I quit, but because I was at the lowest point I could be at. Now, God has put me in this position today, so I just made the most of it. I can't really explain why I'm going through what I went through. I can't really explain why I'm here today, but, you know, I'm staying in the moment and making every moment mean something, so I'm just going out there and playing hard, man. We had a great win, great series. When the job isn't done yet, you know, there's still a lot more basketball left, but I just got to keep getting better, man. That's what I'm focused on doing, is getting better. It's my 9th game, so I got a lot of room to improve.
Vic, when you're sitting in that dark room, I guess is the preeminent thought in your mind, why me? And if so, why didn't you give up along the way?
I mean, we all human. We all get to that point. If you haven't, you will at some point in your life. I've been fighting since even before I was born. I've been fighting. So, if you look at my story, if you look at how I got to this point from high school to college till now, I was always counted out. So when God gave me this obstacle, I could have done 2 things. I could have stopped. Or I could have ran right through it. And I'm still running through it. So, you know, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Simple as that.
Just in the last month and a half since you were cleared to return, what has that process been like? Just trying to, you know, you're jumping into a team so late in the game. What has that process been like to kind of find your way this late in the season?
I understood this process wouldn't be easy, you know, and it hasn't been. But I never shied away from work ever, and I didn't plan on doing it now. So, you know, I couldn't control the circumstance, but I can control my approach. I could control my mentality. And, you know, when my number was called today and they needed me, I was able to perform at the level I performed at. And again, you know, I'm still improving. Like, I haven't played enough basketball to be super comfortable yet, but I'm getting there.
Victor, first of all, welcome to a bright room. I know you got dark shades on.
Thank you.
It's
a little bright in here.
A little bright in here. During this process, and it's really almost like a 4-year process at this point, right?
Yeah.
Did you envision what it would be like, and if you did, what it would be like getting back to a level that you were reaching in Indiana? And if you did, how does tonight match up against that vision?
Oh, I have no doubt I can surpass that level I was at. I have no doubt in my mind, and even better days than that to come. So this is just a part of the journey of getting there, and I'm still on my pursuit for greatness. And at the end of the day, you know, it's going to be obstacles. This ain't the only one that's going to happen the rest of my career. But I've been through so much. I've seen so much, and I've overcome a lot. So whatever happens next, I'll be ready for it. And, you know, tonight wasn't just me. You know what I mean? Tonight was a collective team win. A lot of guys stepped up and did great things for us. And, you know, I'm just happy and glad to be a part of it. And a lot of things that y'all don't see or that people don't see is how huge Jimmy and Kyle were on the bench today. They were like coaches, away from the obvious coaches, obviously, but Jimmy helped me tremendously in the fourth quarter. And you won't see it, obviously, in the box score. You won't see it unless someone tells you so. It's my job to tell you Jimmy helped me a lot in the fourth quarter. So I appreciate him. We appreciate Kyle. And we can't wait till they get healthy. I think something happened, but we can't wait till they get healthy and get back out there helping us win. Man.
Vic, kind of piggybacking off of that, how much, as just a unit, as a team, so many of you guys have been in and out. You guys have been used to kind of having these quirky situations of having to step up in weird spots. How much has that helped you? Just the idea that you kind of are all in this together, the guys who are overlooked, and have all kind of stepped out this season.
Yeah, I mean, all of us have been through a lot on this roster. Man, all of us have overcome a lot on this roster, and so when it gets when it's down to the nitty gritty, and when it gets ugly and it gets hard, we all ready to step up to the plate because we've been through so much. So we don't shy away from hard stuff. We don't shy away from those moments. So we have a lot of guys, 1 through 15, who are ready to go at all times. So credit us, you know what I mean? Credit the coaching staff, the organization for helping us stay ready. I think that's important. I think it's not just us. It's everyone, the whole organization, upper office, people who work in ticket sales, everybody. It's a collective thing in order to be successful. So got to credit everybody for that, for this win and for our season so far and for where we're going to go.
I talk fast anyway. It seemed that two components that define your season, define this game: your defense and your...
Yeah, no question. This was just a really inspiring team win. Everybody that played had their fingerprints on this. We clearly had some adversity in this game, not having Kyle or Jimmy, and our group doesn't even blink. That's not even something we have to address. We just pivot and put in the game plan, and everybody just gets ready, tapes their ankles, and gets out there and competes. Defensively, there are some incredibly inspiring plays. All game long. I mean, the first half we were forcing some turnovers, with some of the press, but even in the second half, that was some really tough work that the guys were doing with multiple efforts and all that. And we got some timely scores. They stepped up their defense, but I thought Bam was just tremendous. It was just winning basketball all the way around. Vic was really good again. He was able to generate some looks for us in the paint, and we just carried it through to the end. We had to get. I thought it was fitting as well that we had to get this game with a stop at the end.
You spoke a little bit about the defense, but before the series, you also talked about how the Hawks had such an explosive offense. How are you guys able to slow them and slow Trey?
I'm not sure. I mean, it takes like a ridiculous amount of multiple efforts. I mean, you have to extend your defense. We're basically extending it 94 feet just to try to get the ball in his hands, to wear on him. Then you cross half court, and your normal pick and roll defense is extended at least 14 feet further than it normally would be. And that just makes the court, bigger. So guys had to cover a lot of ground. It doesn't always work perfectly, but if you're making those multiple efforts, you just have to try to make it tough. And our guys are really committed to that side of the floor, through these 5 games.
If you want the update, Ja hit a layup to win it.
You've got to be kidding me. No way.
Yes.
Didi, how come we don't have the TVs on in here? I thought this was going overtime for sure. I should have known better. I did see the highlight of that dunk, though.
So, I kind of forgot my question.
We digress.
We digress to other matters. With obviously Jimmy hurt, Kyle's deal, PJ was not 100%. Obviously, how valuable are the 6 days? I mean, I know you won't be off the whole time, of course, but how valuable is the rest before round 2?
I mean, next couple days, while we just watch what's going on, I just want everybody living in the training room, and go back to our cave, bandage up, hopefully get healthy. And then we'll see what happens, in that series. But definitely the guys have earned, a couple days of just quality rest and treatment.
Max Strus in 67 seconds, 10 points. How critical or just inspiring almost was that stretch by Max there?
Yeah. And those were, that extra effort, and Gabe got the breakaway. A lot of guys may just kind of jog, and just assume that would be a play at the rim and a score, but Max just finished it off, with an extra effort. They made a great effort, to get a block, and he tips it in, and then it was the Gabe and Max show from there. Just their pressure full court. And it wasn't even necessarily fully to our system. They were just like hair on fire, like just trying to make some plays and change the momentum. And they got a couple of really good traps and made some good reads. And, the ball found, Max. At that point, I think we were 0 for 3, 0 from the 3-point line until that point. And then he got uncorked, and that was just a great stretch because it was all fueled by really inspiring defense and able to score, off those stops.
Obviously, you never want to miss a playoff game, but it seemed like Kyle and Jimmy were coaching guys whenever they had a chance. I mean, how cool was that to see them so engaged?
That was their job tonight. That was it. And that's what they, both do really well. All our veterans are really great about that. And that's, I've mentioned that many times this year. You can develop young guys, all that you want, and we do. It's probably over the top, what we do in terms of the work and everything with young guys, just to give them a full chance to improve and explore their best version. But what really kicks it into another gear is the veteran leadership of just infusing confidence. That's what Kyle has done the entire year. And he was out there coaching. He gave me some tips, except for he told me to challenge that on the baseline. But that was, I think that was a good one to challenge. And they just infused, just great life into our guys. And particularly when it got a little bit, uneven, guys were just coming back to the bench and they see Jimmy and Kyle like right in there in the mix. It's hard not to just gain confidence from that.
Spo, can you walk us through the decision to go with Victor? And then you've been through all sorts of playoff games in your career. It's kind of a special moment for him, considering the stakes and what he's been through the last 4 years.
Yeah, it really was. And I really admire him. I do. For this journey, really, for the last 3 seasons, where he's been dealing with injuries and frustration, and then really working to make himself available for us without a guarantee to play, and just giving to the team. That's why everybody roots for him, and he's always comes in with a smile on his face and lifts people up, and that's even when he was going through DNPs. But he worked, he prepared, and it's true. Crazy things happen, and if you're, there's a karma to it. If you do the right things and you stay patient, it might not be on your terms or your timeline, but then when your opportunity is there, you're able to take advantage of it, and then you have everybody, enjoying his success. It's been a long journey, for him to get to this point, and we're just thrilled for him. And the decision on that was to try to keep our rotation as much as possible. There's so many moving parts that, at this point, I can't keep the consistency of the rotation exactly the way it was, but this is the closest we could get to it. Guys in their normal, comfortable roles, and then, Vic came out, like gangbusters, to start the game, and he was just a really good trigger for us, even in that fourth quarter, to be able to get in the paint and make some plays.
I know defense is always first, second, and third around here, but and you draw up plans because you believe they're going to be successful, but did the plan you drew up for Trey kind of exceed what you thought might have been possible? He's obviously very dynamic, and he never really had a moment, in this series, and certainly never had a moment to himself.
Yeah, it's fully born out of great respect. We had a little bit of the benefit of watching the play-in, where they just torched Charlotte, for 132 points, and you can see that offensive firepower. And then the Cleveland game, and you saw what Trey was able to do in that second half. That catches everybody's attention. And we had a few days to prepare. Regardless, we didn't know exactly who the opponent would be while we were really grinding and practicing, but you knew it was going to be, pick and roll basketball either way, and you're going to have to try to make it tough. He's a tough challenge. He really is. And it really took everybody making multiple efforts, to try to deny him the ball, deny him some of his comfort stuff, and do it with discipline. And on down the line, Gabe, PJ, Vic, Caleb, Kyle, Jimmy, everybody took their turns on him, and that really helps if you're trying to wear somebody down.
All right. Oh, kind of on the line, same lines of the defense. You guys have obviously been one of the top-rated defenses all season, but this stretch, is this maybe the best you've seen your team defensively?
I'm not sure. It's not apples to apples, because I thought we had some really great stretches, during the regular season, and you don't develop a top 5 defense just in a few weeks. We developed a lot of really good habits with our full roster. With different schemes and different, rotations with guys in and out.
What are you waiting